What's going on? Boys, thanks to our patrons and Fiverr customers, subscribe to our Patreon free for behind the scenes stuff, arm yourselves, life stuff. We might be trying to accomplish a few things with this video. Women are confusing. Or if not women specifically, then the spiritual energy channeling itself through most straight women and also most low-level lesbians. And I don't know whether to love them or hate them for it. You know, when I was originally planning this video, although there wasn't much planning to this video, I was expecting it to be this big enjoying women thing. And even now, in my head, it's going in a completely different direction. I think the core audience of this channel is all on the same spiritual frequency. I think the people you are engineered to desire help you be a better you by not being like you. Example, most women who are into you seem eager, not just willing, eager to slot themselves into your sexual interests. And it's interesting because your interests can be outlandish, and at least in my experience, most women will at least try. Even if they fail to achieve, they'll still try. And that alone makes you reconsider the way you're going about living. You shouldn't be going around trying to understand what other people want and make yourself appealing to them. Because even if you try to do that, because that's what you think you're expected to do, or what you think will get you better results, you get the worst results. If you instead stand on what you are and believe in your own needs and desires and spirit, in some instances, the world will start to conform itself to you, to outlandish degrees. And you see that capacity of existence most in these sorts of women we're talking about. And considering their position in this, that seems, at least to my tastes, like an undesirable position to be in, or an undesirable sort of person to want, a conforming person. But again, women are weird. If you are a not conforming sort of person, and she conforms herself to you, she'll become a not conforming sort of person. To other people. She'll do to other people what you do to other people. And that process does a couple things for you. One, as we mentioned, it directs you to go about life a certain way via incentive, which is rare in existence. And it also encourages you not to be the sort of person you hate, or even better, to be the sort of person you want to be. Because if you aren't the sort of person you want to be, if you are the sort of person you hate, she'll be the sort of person you hate. Again, you are incentivized not to be self-hating or to allow yourself to be someone you hate. And also not to be average. But I've been thinking about fetishes again recently. And I don't understand why woman fetishes work in such a strange way. Because it's always a matter of extremes. They're either, yes, discernible as fetishes, you could argue their tastes, but there is a fetishy element to them, but they're extremely plain. Like, she likes looking at your back and likes when you wear boots, and that's about as far as it goes in total. Or it's some actually traumatizing shit. Like, she wants you actually to torture somebody in a permanently damaging for them way. And she has videos of torture. Many such cases. Too many. But even between the vanilla and the extreme sorts of women, they'll usually drop what they're interested in and pick up what you're interested in. And if they do happen to get into it, then that's their new thing. At least until another degenerate gets them into something different. And that's another way I've learned to sniff out former dudes or other dudes, especially in freak bitches. You know she didn't get herself into this mid-level fetish. If this were her own thing, it would either be nothing or it would be a war crime. For it to be in this middling area, you know another dude was around or is around. Anyway, one of the reasons women keep the wind in my sails is no matter what you're doing, as long as you believe in it and are willing to stand by it and think about it and can articulate it somewhat, you'll always end up with at least a few women supporting you in some capacity. In other words, as long as you believe in something enough to push on it, you'll have supporters, and those supporters will probably be women. And I appreciate that not just for the abstract confidence boost, though that is appreciated, but also because it is unique to women. Interestingly, if you look at the inverse of what I'm talking about here, as in a woman pushing for something and getting male support, men are flaky and fad driven. Dudes will leave a woman champion in the lurch. And the few dudes who do stick around, they're not there to help you push the cart. They're there to spill loads watching you push the cart. And then probably they'll leave. And it's not like I'm saying women are these pure supportive people. There's a sexual element to what they're doing too, but because of the weird, confusing way woman sexuality works, helping you push the cart is part of it for them. I mentioned in the Patreon the other day the way woman energy is restorative to men in hard times. I think man energy is as restorative to women as woman energy is to men, but it operates in a different way that I cannot figure out. And these are the moments you think about things like the Jake dream. Is Jake a thing or an aspect of yourself, an aspect of your shadow you need to defeat? Or is Jake, in fact, a vivid portrait of a goal, a desirable goal, sent to you by your shadow in a way that is disturbing to you? Because of course it is. And what does the fluidity of woman sexuality mean? Back to the fetishes point, I guess we don't discuss it often, but we've discussed it enough times. How important fetishes are spiritually if you're born with them. Or even if you aren't born with them, you carry them as far back as you can remember. And that's what I mean by blooded when I'm talking about fetishes. People who have had these interests for as long as they can remember, versus people who are just getting into it to fuck around. And looking at this dichotomy, or dynamic, using men is a bit clearer. Because it seems like there are three categories of dudes. First is the vanilla dude, second is the blooded fetishist dude, and third, least of all, is the one who jumps between fetishes, I guess just to experiment with them and to have fun. There's no, at least in my experience speaking with these dudes, there is no spiritual aspect to them whatsoever. But see, you have a basic distaste for this sort of dude. And there is an analog for this sort of dude in women. Women who just jump around with fetishes, trying things. Same degree of soullessness, but then you get into the standard woman. When she initiates herself into the cult you belong to, basically, is what she's doing. She's done that for dudes before, and she'll do that for dudes in the future, but when she's in it, it's not a playing around, it's not a fucking around. She's in this. And that's peculiar. Because that would seem to be spiritual disrespect or sexual fucking aroundedness, but it's not. Meaning, she's not breaking any cosmic rules here. This is what she's supposed to be doing. Even if it doesn't fit into your understanding of the way these things work. The question is why? Why does it work this way? To what end does it work this way? I'm beginning to wonder if there is some shamanic, priestly, Venusian aspect to woman behavior here. Or again, at least the spirit being channeled through most straight women and most low-level lesbians. She is a Venus conduit. That's why sexual compatibility is so important. Because, as I mentioned, I haven't run into a partner who won't try. There are many who fail, but they'll all try. Meaning, I think, if you consider the fact, there is a mimetic makeup that is as structural to what we are as our genetics are. A heterosexual woman and a heterosexual man are trying to meet one another's needs conceptually as well as physically. That's why sexual compatibility is the first and foremost most important compatibility measure. And I have no idea why people downplay that importance so much. If you have a really good electric connection with someone, you can work around almost everything else. Because you're meeting one another's most important needs in that abstract way we haven't figured out yet. Or maybe this is all rhyming and echoing, because if you're a dude, what is she trying to do for you in abstract fetish land? She is restructuring herself to help you reach a peak. And that's why in that gender video I'm still fighting with those fighting to word those concepts. There's biology, there's socially constructed gender, and then there's some spiritual categorization we need to figure out. All three of those things are at play in people. Here's another attempt. Biology woman, gender woman, energy woman. In that set of stats or selectors, standard ass standard woman. Which, by the way, does not interact with typology in my experience, because there are standard ass standard women of all types. And when I say standard ass standard, I don't mean that in a derogatory way here yet. But okay, she's trying to help you reach a peak, both physically in terms of orgasm and also spiritually. What is that peak she's trying to help you reach? What does it mean to reach that peak? Because you look at it, the physical side of it, orgasm, the end result is pleasure and an effort, at least, at gene spreading. There must be some kind of result for reaching a peak on that conceptual level, What is the result or the outcome of that? It's common knowledge a divine nut made me spiritual. You know sexuality is important when you when you come so hard, it changes your religious trajectory. But then there are even levels to this, right? Because you have normal orgasm that, and there are even levels to normal orgasm. Is it normal on the lowest level in which you're really just dealing with your urges so you don't have to deal with them later and it didn't even feel good, up to, okay, you're dealing with your urges but it felt okay. Then there's, you felt like you accomplished something, or there is a standard and you've met it this time. Then there is a standard and you've surpassed it this time. You've actually accomplished something this time. And then there is Earth, Wind, and Fire, September. That felt so good, you've made a new memory, and all of a sudden you're existentially doubting yourself. And then above that is the cosmic nut. And is that the result of reaching that conceptual peak? Well, yes, definitely. You're accomplishing something spiritual, but I still don't know what exactly it is other than your feeling of connection with the divine. And I don't know why women are the ones who are supposed to or assigned to help you as a man get there. Oh, and that's the really fucked up thing. You begin to question that too. Are you a man? Or are you a man something? A biological man, gendered man with some such religiosity going on. I don't know. But anyway, when or in your dealings with women, what are you bringing to the table for them spiritually? I haven't worked that out either. I mean, obviously, you serve as a pole for them to wrap themselves around and thereby give them an identity to hold on to in these dreadful wastes. But is that all it is? I mean, you can take it a little bit further and imagine it as providing these women a schema by which they can know themselves, as in, by configuring themselves to you, they get a better idea of what they are. But also, you think about what men, and women are here to do. What is peak accomplishment for a triple M? I think at its base, even in the pastiest, pondering llama dude, it's conquest. Seeing something you don't like or feel threatened by and exterminating it. You can get poetic about any number of things, but. And I get poetic about a bunch of shit. But really, at the core, killing the thing that wants to kill you feels better than anything a person can feel. And I'm so agitated. Kaczynski, he wrote, or he referenced, because he did a breakdown on men, and he mentioned he could do a breakdown on women, but didn't have time. I would have really liked that, because he was right about everything. Oh, and that's another thing. Have you noticed that the way everyone says there is, okay, people try to insert triple W's into the hero's journey, and sometimes it does work, but a lot of times it doesn't. So once you're aware of that and have accepted it, a lot of people will make the reference there is the woman version of the hero's journey, or there is a different sort of achievement or attainment triple W women are going for. But, and a lot of people will say this shit, and then none of them will ever elaborate. it's a joke. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. What I'm saying is this just something that everybody knows should exist or does exist, but nobody is going into it? Because these dumb cunts going into this whole Wiccan Witcha thing, Wiccan Witcha, which is there's this huge witch kick, and it's lame, and it doesn't seem to be accomplishing anything, which is annoying. Because witches are cool, but the way they're being deployed in popular culture as if to express this feminine ideal or energy, it fails in that totally, and it does everyone involved a disservice. Media witches are like a person turning away from a group and essentially doing a blackjack and hookers thing, but their idea of blackjack and hookers is putting their pants on their heads and trying to act mysterious. It's really strange. It's not just stupid. It's fucked up in a way I know is important, but I haven't been able to put my finger on. It is a targeted malice, this new witch thing. Malicious against everybody, actual witches included. And it feels like trying to understand what Triple W women are here to do is like trying to figure out what happened as a detective after a series of gruesome murders. You don't have any end result to examine and speculate about. All you have are a bunch of ripped apart failures, and you need to figure out what the result probably is using these failures to launch, and then analyze the result, the probable result. Are women really alive primarily to understand themselves and to try to be understood? In my energy field, I've got some such going on, but, and we talk about wanting to be understood or trying to understand things, we frame ourselves as if we're all about knowledge and the mysteries and wanting to know things, and that is where we spend most of our time. But if I'm being honest with myself and with you, the only reason I'm doing those things is because I want to exterminate things I hate. And those are the avenues I think will be most productive. If I could exterminate things I hated without all this mysterious bullshit, I wouldn't have all this mysterious bullshit. But it seems like that's not what women are here to do. Women seem, and again, because I don't know what they are ultimately and truly basically concerned with. But it seems like identity is what they're here for. And that would actually explain a lot, if that's the case. I still don't know what the woman version of Luke Skywalker would look like. Fucking Ripley. The one heterosexual example, or commonly referenced heterosexual example, I know there are others, example of a woman some such. Sadie Adler, maybe? And then lesbians with any degree of advancement are all fucked up. Another thing you'll notice in media and popular culture that is a hack trend is the tough girl lesbian thing. And that is hack, but I don't think it's a mistake. It's like ants trying to figure out how to eat an apple. Society is aware of this tri-category thing we're talking about, or maybe quad-category thing. Oh, it's all fucked up. Oh, do you know a trick that I just realized is a trick? They done put the gender they done put the gender identity among sexual orientation. Oh, they done fucked it all up bad. This has been rigged from the very beginning. Oh, they know this is important, and there's so many levels of trying to keep you away from clarifying anything. So let's think. Let's put on our thinking caps. You have biology, you have gender, you have spirit something or other, and you have sexual orientation. The four elements, the four cardinal points. And that would make more sense. Oh, they fucked it all up intentionally. And I started this video with the intention of mildly simping for about 20 minutes. And we ended up here. This is the cover-up. This is so thorough. This is so thorough you don't even realize... This is such a cover-up, you don't even realize it's being covered up. It's a cover-up that has succeeded as a cover-up. We've been smooth-talked for decades now. They just stuck them together and people went with it. And of course it's perpetuated by... It has to be. Right? That's why with the trans people, there are two sorts of them. There's the 99%, which are all hyper-political, and that's another part of it, is, again, to an extent, you can understand that they are necessarily political, you think, but then you have that 1%, 99% of trans people are all normal, good, political people. It's just the 1% that are chaos mages. I just wanted to write and talk about porn and be done with it. Oh, and we ended up back here again. Well, maybe it's not too late to get back into the lowest simping. The four cardinal directions. Once you know a person's biology, gender, spirit, and sexual orientation, or what they're supposed to be compatible with, it's the cardinal directions. You can get a heading that way. No, really, we need to do a little bit of simping to calm down. Are these four fundamental aspects of sentient beings, though? What you're made of, what you style yourself after, or what you are styled after, to the point it's not your hardware, but it affects you to the point you could mistake it to be hardware. Then you have the animating spirit within you, and then let's think of AI. Okay, AI reproduction, or is it? Because it's not reproduction. It's the lesbians again. They aren't reproducing. You have the polyamory way of looking at things. The desire to connect with other sentiences, is that what that would be? What that direction would be in a more general sense? These are the moments you need ass-assisted sensory deprivation. I'm telling you, this shit is like a black hole. We keep ending up back here. What is it? What does it mean? If we're looking at this from at least a double M point of view, what power is there to be unlocked in this that will allow us still to try to kill the void, to kill death itself, still knowing that's impossible? Knowing there's no making peace with this inevitability. You need to figure out how to kill it. Anyway. Big anyway. I wrote some fucked up but completely legal porn. Size stuff. The good stuff. Or at least my attempt to produce the good stuff. And I am still surprised at the number of size degenerates running around this channel. I know it's been getting more popular in the last decade, maybe, but it seems like there are a lot of us now. And that activates the almonds, gets the noggin jogging. What could be causing that? So I'll release it with all the disclaimers and tags, both to dip my toe into this market because I would love to be more involved in the community, and also to satisfy the curiosity of potential residents of Jake's closet. This is what happens when you go into a video that doesn't warrant its own video without a plan. And I'll restate it here because it bears repeating. Fetishes are like your own spirit schemas. Your own spirit schemas. It's a tool and a religion. This is the method by which you'll do your most important analysis of the world. This is the religion you belong to. Frankly, this is probably the way you'll interact most or best with your deity. Do not mistake fetishes for simple perversions. That's another thing, right? There's a certain fetish group that fetish is characterized with wealth and power, right? You don't see size people ruling the world, for instance. But you do see furries, and they always have a lot of disposable money. I don't know how they do that. Is this like an old money with what those people are into versus new money, i.e., furries situation? I think I wrote about this on the Patreon a while back, but it's all fetishes. One group right now is trying to push out the other group, and here's where I've been lax. I've been such a supremacist for my interests, even though I know how important my interests are to me spiritually. I have never tried to see what spiritual insights people from other fetish groups might be extracting from reality with their lenses, with their cults. Haven't done it, never really thought to do it. I'll probably continue not to, but it is something to think about. Women are really great. I was feeling so bad the other day, but this cashier woman I speak with sometimes, oh man, her boobs were out way more than normal. Freckly, she was smiling a lot. She made a point of talking to me and commenting on things, which means she's not interested whatsoever. That's about the way that it goes. But I felt so much better, if only briefly. Okay, I think we're going to cut it here. This feels like a video in which we've accomplished a lot, but it happened in such a it all happened in such a confusing way. Like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you haven't.